Here we are, folks. London, one of the greatest cities in the whole world, full of amazing architecture, amazing people, amazing things to see and do. And it's also the city where I was born. I've lived here for pretty much most of my life. But London is like a lot of cities, and it can be a very dangerous place as well. And what I want to talk about today is crypto safety, because it's on us, folks, to keep our own crypto safe. Now, because this is London, it's a little bit chilly up here. So before we get going, why don't we go somewhere a bit warmer? That's better. And I've got a cup of tea as well. Okay, so obviously all the talk recently in the crypto community has been about the implosion of Terra, and I think we've all learned a lot of very valuable lessons from that whole disaster. At least I hope we have. And at least a couple of those lessons should be: don't invest more than you can afford to lose, and diversify your investments, because the people who lost most from this disaster were the people who had gone in big and only on Luna and or UST. So do bear those lessons in mind, folks. But this also made me think about how safe we keep our crypto in general. And I was reminded of this recently by an article that I read, this one here, in the Guardian newspaper here in the UK. And it talks about how a number of people here in London have actually been mugged for their crypto. What this is involved is basically thieves getting hold of their phone, managing to get into it, or forcing them to open it, and then transferring crypto from their exchange apps, from things like Coinbase or Binance, over to addresses that the thieves themselves control. And of course, as we all know, folks, crypto transactions cannot be reversed. Once that crypto is gone, you ain't getting it back. So we have to take steps to protect ourselves from this very possible eventuality, and that's what I want to talk about in a bit more detail today. So one of the first things to consider is how we actually store our crypto. Now, I keep most of mine on a number of hardware wallets which are spread out across different locations, and this is something that I always suggest people do with their crypto, because it's all about taking responsibility for your own holdings. Now, I do appreciate, though, that a lot of you will want to keep some of your crypto on an exchange. And there are, of course, a number of reasons why you might do this. You might want to be trading it, in which case you need it on the exchange ready to sell. Or you might be wanting to earn interest from it, from the likes perhaps of a centralized lending and borrowing platform, Celsius, BlockFi or Nexo, for instance. So there are valid reasons for wanting to keep at least a little bit of crypto on an exchange. However, the first thing I would say is do not keep all of your crypto on one exchange. Exchanges are vulnerable. Although they spend billions of dollars a year collectively on security, that does not mean that they are 100% secure. So don't keep all of your crypto on one exchange, and make sure that all your exchange apps are extremely well secured. Now, what form does this take? Well, for one thing, a strong password, and for another, two-factor authentication. Now, we all know what a strong password should entail. Password 1234 is not a strong password. It needs to be much longer. It needs to be a collection of letters and numbers, capital letters, lowercase letters, and special characters if you're allowed them. Also, talking about two-factor authentication, this should be done using an app like Google Authenticator or Authy. Some people use a SIM-based authenticator. I do not think this is a good idea, because those are vulnerable to SIM swap attacks, the mechanics of which I won't go into here. So use an authenticator app as well, people. Let's assume that you've taken all those precautions. You don't have too much crypto stored on any one exchange or app. Any crypto apps you are using are properly secured with a strong password and two-factor authentication. You should also make sure that your phone itself is well secured. It should either have, I would say, at least a 6-digit passcode, facial recognition, and or biometric recognition as well. Now, of course, as we've seen in the examples from this article, that doesn't mean that some ne'er-do-wells couldn't get hold of you and your phone, force you to open it up, and then transfer your crypto out of any exchange apps you may have on that phone. So, what can you do to prevent you or to keep yourself safe in this sort of situation? Well, for one thing, I think we all need to be asking ourselves, do we really need to have all these exchange apps and other platforms on our phone to begin with? Now, we all like the idea of being able to trade quickly and on the go. Let's say you suddenly spot that Bitcoin has dipped to a price that you'd like to get in on. You want to be able to execute that trade quickly. Well, most exchanges will let you set limit orders, in which case you can program it to automatically buy a certain amount of BTC at that particular price. So there's no need to be trying to trade on the go and in the moment. So, if that's the case, do you really need to have an exchange app on your phone that someone who could get hold of you and your phone can then get into? Well, some people may still want to do this, but fortunately there is still one last line of defense, and this is something known as whitelisting. Now, with whitelisting, you can basically set it up so that your crypto exchange or app will only send crypto to a designated address. It's basically like having a crypto address book, and the crypto on that exchange or app can only be sent there. Now, when you set up whitelisting, this doesn't mean that you can't then send it to any other crypto address in the future, but it does place a time limit on it. So, let's imagine a thief has got hold of you and your phone. You've been forced to open up your exchange app, and the thief wants to put in their own crypto address for you to send all of your crypto to. Now, if you have whitelisting turned on, there will be a delay, and you can often set how long that delay will be until that thief's address can be sent to. Now, I have mine set up for 72 hours, and what that means is a thief would have to wait 3 days in order for their address to be authorized. Now, I don't think any thief is going to hang around for that long. At least, I hope not. So that's whitelisting, a good last line of defense against crypto thieves. Now, it is worth remembering that not all exchanges offer whitelisting, so you should check which ones that do and then consider moving your crypto onto those exchanges. But, of course, don't keep too much crypto in one place. And finally, folks, my last security tip is don't talk too loudly about holding crypto. You never know who is listening. Okay, folks, so those are just a few crypto safety tips that I thought I'd share with you today. Basically, we have to take responsibility for keeping our own crypto safe and not rely on anyone else. This is one of the central tenets to the whole crypto ethos, folks. And if this video can protect just one person from losing their crypto in the way that so many people have done, especially in this article, then it will have been worth it. Stay safe out there, folks.